Hello, in this video we will talk about my playoff predictions for this year's NBA playoffs. So first we'll talk about the Eastern Conference. So number 1 and 8th is between the Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat. I believe that Milwaukee has the best defense in the entire NBA. They have Giannis Antetokounmpo, they have Drew Holiday, they have Chris Middleton, and I believe that their coach is also very tactical, involving like defense and offense. And Miami Heat's a very good team. They have Jimmy Butler, they have Tyler Hero, but the thing is that there's a lot of locker room issues between them. Like most of the players are selfish, and I believe that Milwaukee plays in much more of like play in a selfish way. They just are gonna pass the ball to each other. They have very good possession over the ball. So I believe that Milwaukee's gonna defeat Miami. I believe Miami might win one game. So Milwaukee in 5. So they go to the quarters. Bucks. Now we go to 4th and 5th. It's between the Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks. This is a very good matchup between the Knicks and Cavs, of course. Like Cleveland, they have a very good team. They have like a couple years ago they were in a very bad position. They weren't even in the playoffs. LeBron James just recently left a couple years ago, so now the team is in shambles. Now they're in the rebuilding phase, but now they have good players like centers and point guards. Like they had Donovan Mitchell. They just recently traded from the Utah Jazz. He's a very good improvement for the team. He's averaging like 28 points this season, and I believe he's also going to go off during the playoffs. So I believe that Cleveland will win this game against New York, but New York, they only have Jalen Brunson, which they paid them a lot of money, but they also have They also have Julius Randle. But the thing is that they only have those two players. They have also had R.J. Barron, but R.J. Barron doesn't go off that much during the playoffs. And Cleveland, they are more focused on the playoffs. They had very good centers like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So I believe that Cleveland's going to win in 6 against New York. Still, New York is a very good team, but they don't have like a complete team for themselves to go to the playoffs. So Cavs beat Knicks. So now we get to Philadelphia versus Brooklyn. This is obviously an easy one. I believe that Philadelphia is for sure going to beat the Brooklyn Nets. I think they're going to sweep them, but they're going to win every single game they're going to play against them. So I believe that Sixers are going to win in 4. But why I believe that is because the Brooklyn Nets, the only reason why they even qualified for the playoffs, because in the beginning of the season they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and now Kyrie left to go to the Dallas Mavericks, who didn't qualify for the playoffs. But Kevin Durant, he also left too to go to the Phoenix Suns, and they also recently fired the manager Steve Nash, Steve Nash, was an alright coach, but the thing is that he wasn't focused more on defensively, so that's why Kevin Durant wanted to tell the office that either Steve Nash stays or he leaves. Or either Steve Nash leaves. If that doesn't work, then he's gonna leave. But Steve Nash left, but still Kevin Durant couldn't find a very good spot in the Brooklyn Nets, so he left. So I believe that for sure Philadelphia is gonna defeat the Brooklyn Nets, but like Brooklyn, they have Spencer Dinwiddie, they have Ben Simmons, but the thing is that Ben Simmons is probably not going to play this game because he's always injured, and he can't shoot too. And Philadelphia, they have James Harden, Joel Embiid, very good players. They also have Tyrese Maxey. In my opinion, he's the most underrated player in the NBA. They don't talk about him that much on ESPN or anywhere else. He's a very good point guard, so I believe that Philadelphia is going to win 4. So they go to the quarters too. 76ers. Okay? And this is a good one. Boston Celtics versus Atlanta Hawks. This is a good one in my opinion, because if you watch NBA games like me, you will realize that those two teams have beef between each other. Like Trae Young and Marcus Smart, they obviously been getting into like a lot of fights and all that during NBA games. So I believe that this is going to be a very good rivalry between each other. But to be honest, Atlanta has a very good team. They have Trae Young and a lot of good support players. They also have Clint Capella, but Clint Capella hasn't been good since he left Cleveland. Since he left Houston. So they're a good team, but I think Atlanta might win one game, but Boston, Boston's a very good team. They have Jason Tatum, who obviously might be the next Kobe Bryant, because he's because he has like 28 points this season. He's also averaging a lot of like rebounds and assists too. So I believe that Boston for sure is going to win this game against Atlanta. They might win one game probably at home, but still, Celtics are going to move on to the quarters. And now we get to the Western Conference. Before we talk about the Eastern Conference, we talk a little bit about the Western Conference. So there's actually, let me move here. There's the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I believe Denver is definitely going to beat Minnesota because they're first and eighth. But not just that, because like I said here, between Miami and Milwaukee Bucks, Miami has a lot of like locker room issues, and if you watch the video of Rudy Gobert getting into a fight with Kyle Anderson, so I believe that there's a lot of locker room issues between them. They also have a lot of young players, but you know how young players are nowadays. They're more selfish. They want to keep the ball. They're more focused on their image and all that. So I believe Minnesota, they might win one game probably at home, but the rest is all on the Denver Nuggets. So I believe they're going to the quarterfinals. They have Jokic, they have Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, he hasn't played in the NBA for a while because of a hamstring injury he had, but still, Jamal Murray is a very good player. I believe he's going to go all off during the playoffs. He might want to get revenge on the playoffs, since the last time he played in the playoffs was in the bubble and the 2020 NBA playoffs, when the Nuggets made all the way to the Western Conference Finals, but they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers. So I think he might want to get revenge on that. So for sure, I believe that the Denver Nuggets are going to move on to the quarters. So right here, Nuggets. And now we get to the Suns versus the Clippers. I believe this game is going to be interesting too. Phoenix, they have Kevin Durant, they have Devin Booker, they have DeAndre Ayton. It's more of a super team. It's like the Golden State Warriors, but they don't have Stephen Curry. They have Devin Booker. They don't have Klay Thompson. They have Chris Paul. But still, Phoenix is a very good team since they signed Kevin Durant. But like Kevin Durant, you know how he is most times in the playoffs. He gets injured, then he's not going to play a couple games, then Suns going to get knocked out. But I think this time Kevin Durant might actually want to win a title after like a couple years since he last won a title. Was when the Golden State Warriors played against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they beat them, of course. And Los Angeles Clippers, they're a good team, but they're not. Paul George is not going to play that game. And Paul George is the reason why the Clippers are even in the playoffs, because he's a very good player, shooting guard wise. He can make all of his shots. He's also good at defense and making rebounds. But since he's not going to play the entire playoff games, I believe this game is also going to be interesting. But without Paul George, they only down to Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook. Still very good team. Russell Westbrook, this season he's playing the worst basketball of his entire life. I've never seen a player like Russell Westbrook ever play this bad. A couple years ago he just won the MVP. Now he's playing at the Los Angeles Clippers, not doing that much. And there was this crazy stat when Russell Westbrook joined the Los Angeles Clippers. In his first 5 games, the Clippers haven't won a single game in Russell Westbrook's first 5 games at the Clippers. That's pretty shocking for someone like Russell Westbrook. So I believe Los Angeles Clippers might win one game, probably at home, of course, and the rest is Phoenix. So they go to the quarterfinals. Then you get to the Kings and Warriors. This might be a little bit controversial, but I believe that the Warriors might win this game because, look, the Sacramento Kings, they also have a very good team. They have Domantas Sabonis, who this season he started playing very well. They have De'Aaron Fox, who actually started playing very good basketball nowadays. He's also averaging like 24 points this season, which is pretty impressive for someone like him. Like a couple years ago, they said he was like a bust. You know, he's not gonna do that well in the NBA. Now the Kings finally qualified for the playoffs after 20 years. Last time they qualified was when Kobe Bryant was still playing. That was pretty shocking. And the Golden State Warriors, and why I believe that the Kings are not gonna make it to the quarters because they don't have much more of a playoff experience. Like the coach is doing all right this season, but I believe that they need more veteran players that have very good experience in the playoffs, but also very good young players that could also support the team pretty well. And I won't say that much about like the team's possession. Like defensive wise, they're not gonna play very well against the Golden State Warriors, like a team they have Jordan Poole, who's going to become the next Stephen Curry. They have Stephen Curry, of course. They have Klay Thompson. They have Draymond Green, very good defender, by the way. Andrew Wiggins, who's probably going to come back from injury. So I believe that the Golden State Warriors are going to defeat the Kings. So Warriors go to the quarter. Warriors. And then you get to the Grizzlies and Lakers. Obviously, Memphis is going to win this game. Los Angeles, they have improved a lot since the beginning of the season. In the beginning of the season, they had D'Angelo. In the beginning of the season, they had Russell Westbrook, but they traded him for D'Angelo Russell. So now they're actually playing very well with him. And the Lakers, they also have improved a lot since the last couple of years. So I believe the Lakers, they're obviously going to lose to the Memphis Grizzlies as John Morant and Dylan Brooks are also very good players. They also have a very good support bench. So I believe that Memphis is going to defeat the Warriors and move on to the quarters. Okay, and now we get to Eastern Conference quarters. Bucks versus Cavs. This is obviously a very good game. The Milwaukee Bucks, as I mentioned, they have the best defense in the NBA. Giannis Antetokounmpo might win the MVP this season. They also have a very good support bench too. They have a very good support three like Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. They have very good possession over the ball. But Cleveland Cavaliers, they have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley, but still, Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe that they need to work a little bit more maybe on the small forward position, because they have Isaac Okoro, but Isaac Okoro is not doing that well this season, so I believe, the run for the Cleveland Cavaliers end here, and Bucks move on to the semifinals. So, Bucks to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then you get to the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics. This is obviously a good game, but I think it's going to end here for Philadelphia. I think the reason why is because the same reason for the Miami Heat. There's a lot of locker room issues with James Harden and Joel Embiid. Obviously, there's this video of James Harden in the end of the game wanting to spin a basketball, but Embiid wanted to take the shot of it, and they were arguing during the game, and I think Joel Embiid every season he always gets injured. He's not that fit of a player. He's also arrogant, and so I believe that the run for the Philadelphia 76ers and here Boston obviously have a very good team. They have a very good coach too, and so I believe that Celtics are going to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals and play against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now we get to Western Conference. There's the Nuggets versus the Suns. This is obviously a good game. Nuggets have a very good support team. They have Jokic, they have Jamal Murray, but Phoenix, they have improved a lot lately, so I believe Phoenix are going to win this game and defeat the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, Jokic has been playing very well this season, but I think they might need a little bit more than just Jokic and Jamal Murray. They might need a little bit more support players, probably they need to improve if they want to make it to the finals. So, yeah, I believe the Nuggets are a very good team, but Phoenix they have a very good big three. They have Kevin Durant, they have DeAndre Ayton, they have Devin Booker, but they also have Chris Paul, who might get injured, but still, it's a very good team. So I believe that Suns are going to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, and then we get to Warriors versus Grizzlies. In my opinion, Warriors are going to win. like since after the whole controversy with like John Morant and Dylan Brooks, there are a lot of like arrogant players. They love to get into fights and all that. But the Warriors, they just love making shots. Like wherever Stephen Curry is, you just need to pass the ball to him. I'm telling you, he's gonna make at least 99% of his shot. So, and the Warriors, they also have a very good team. They have very good physical players. They are very good defensively and offensively. And the Grizzlies, after the John Moran controversy, they started playing a little bit soft. They are still physical, by the way. They love to get into fights too, but they're not the same. So I'm going Warriors to the Western Conference Finals. Maybe they want to redeem their title. So let me write here, Warriors. Okay. So now we'll get to Eastern Conference. Bucks versus Celtics. This is a very good team. We got the best defense in the NBA versus the best offense in the NBA. But I believe that this could be the end of the road for Boston. Boston, they don't have a lot of like their coach is not like doesn't have that much experience in the NBA. He's just a first-year coach too. I believe he's the youngest coach in NBA history. He's like 31. So they don't have that much experience with the coach. They also have very good players like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. But the thing is that they need a little bit more. They might need a new center like Al Horford. He's like in his 30s, like 36. He's older than the coach. They might need a little bit more. They might need a little bit more defense. Like they obviously have very good defense too, but the thing is that they just need a little bit more players for themselves. They might need to sign a little bit more. They might need to sign a very good support bench and a new center too, because they have Blake Griffin too. But Blake Griffin, like he hasn't played well since he left the Los Angeles Clippers, and he's been getting into injuries and all that. And like I think this season he's not doing that well. So I believe that Boston road's gonna end off here, and Milwaukee's gonna move to the finals. Obviously, Bucks have the best defense in the NBA. But while you have the best defense in the NBA and you're playing against a team that has the best offense in the NBA, obviously, what wins more? You have better defense, right? So you can make better steals. The Bucks, if you watch their games, they mostly focus on pressing a lot, but there are situations where a couple Bucks players they will there's a situation where a Bucks player will leave his man and go double team another guy, and in most cases they play very good defense after that. They get steals and all that, and it works pretty well. So I believe the best defense in the NBA, Milwaukee Bucks, will move on to the finals. And now we get to the Phoenix Suns versus the Golden State Warriors. That's obviously a good game, but the Warriors, they have a very good team, but I think same reason with the Miami Heat. They love to get into people's heads. They love to get into arguments and all that. But they're like, I think a lot of times like the Golden State Warriors love to show off. They want to show off how great they are. They like their shots and all that. So if they get to a playoff situation and where the players are more selfish and they want to show off and all that, it's not going to work that well for when they play against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, they're a very good defensive team and offensive team. They have DeAndre Ayton, they have Kevin Durant. They also have very good point guards like Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So I believe that the Suns are going to move on to the finals, and we're going to get a rematch here. Milwaukee Bucks versus the Phoenix Suns. This is obviously a finals matchup I want to see, of course, but I think a finals matchup that actually will happen. The Bucks have the best defense in the NBA. Suns, they have the very good super team. They might actually win it, but I think right here the Suns is gonna lose to the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe they're gonna lose in 6, and the Milwaukee Bucks are gonna win the finals. Why I believe this? Because the Milwaukee Bucks, they're more offensive. They also focus on more on offense. They have very good possession over the ball. They're very physical. They love to play defense, of course. And when they get to a position where there are players that easily get injured, like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, and you're gonna play against the team that rarely gets injured, like the Milwaukee Bucks, because they have like Giannis Antetokounmpo, very physical, by the way. Jrue Holiday, that could play very good defense, but also play very good offense. Chris Middleton, who is obviously a very good three-point shooter. And they have Brook Lopez, who this season is actually pretty impressive. He's averaging like over 12 points this season, so that's pretty impressive. So I believe the Bucks are gonna win the finals over the Phoenix Suns, and Giannis gonna get his second NBA title, and I believe Giannis also might be MVP this season. So yeah, this is my playoff prediction. I hope you like this video. See you later. Bye.